before I buy a phone, this is something I feel like everybody should do. I know a lot of people will buy phones and then later on they'll complain about different features and different things that have arisen, or different issues that they've had after they bought the phone, which they didn't realize before they bought it or before they purchased it. So hello everyone, thank you for coming back today for another video. So technically the same day, we're just gonna talk about that, but anyway. All right, so anyway, today is gonna be like a very quick unboxing video. Some point I will give my review on this. So start this video out. So currently I have a Samsung S9. Yes, I am ashamed. I am ashamed. But yes, currently I have a Samsung S9. I am very much an Android fan, and I mean, honestly, I'm the kind of person where it's like, if it's not broken, then why replace it? So, and for a while, like, I think everybody kind of goes through that phase where they always want a new phone, and I was in a phase where I wanted a new phone, but at the same time, like, I've been hard on my phones. Let me tell y'all, I cannot tell you how many phones I have either like dropped, or maybe they fell on the ground some kind of way. It's like, you know, none of it was intentional. Like, even now with my current phone that I have, like, say I am looking at my phone, because sometimes, like, right before bed, which is not the best thing, they say if you're about to go to sleep, don't look at your phone. But I have a habit of looking at my phone before I go to sleep. So a lot of times I have some nights where I don't quite get to sleep, like as soon as I get in the bed, or, you know, within like the first 30 minutes when I'm in bed, because I'm looking at my phone. So anyway, back to the point. So I'll get in my bed, I'll look at my phone, and then I'll just lay it to the side, not thinking, like, maybe put it on the charger while you're sleeping, right? Most times I'm very aware of that, and I will put the phone on the charger, but there are times when I don't put the phone on the charger and I just kind of lay it down next to me, because I'm like, you know, I'll wake up in like a few minutes, or maybe I was looking at it during a commercial break while I was watching TV or something like that. And so I just kind of lay it next to me on the bed, and then, you know, you forget to pick it up and put it on the charger, or move it out of the way, get off the bed. And so while I'm sleeping, I'll end up like tossing and turning and stuff, and then unintentionally I'll end up like kicking the phone or pushing the phone off of the bed. You know, it just slides off the sheets like butter, and then it ends up falling on the floor, and then you hear this loud crash, and then it wakes you up for a second. You're like, what was that? You know, and then you look and it's like, oh, it's my phone. Hope it didn't break. But yeah, so there have been many nights where that has happened, where I accidentally like either kicked my phone on the bed unintentionally, just by the sheets being moved around, or like if I'm lifting the sheet up, whatever the case is, it just ends up falling on the floor. Just like the remotes. Sometimes the remotes do the same thing. But anyway, that phone has gone through a lot. I literally, as a matter of fact, I can bring it around here for you all to see, but it's got like one small crack on the front. I used to do the screen protectors, like when you first get a phone, it's like very new, shiny, all that stuff, clean, and you do the screen protector on it as soon as you get it. And so I had a screen protector on there at one point, and of course it started peeling off, whatever the case was. So I ended up taking that one off, and then I put a new one on. But I've actually been using it without a screen protector for a while, and it's literally only got one crack on the screen. This is my current cell phone right here. It's very clean. It's got fingerprints and stuff on it, but for the most part it's clean as far as cracks go. There's like one crack, which you all may not be able to even see, but it's like a small crack, like down here in the corner. I don't know how y'all can see it. System wise, it's not really working like it's supposed to. So I tried to make some calls last week, and like it would just say like either, I don't know if it was like call is not available or caller is not available, some strange message, and it wouldn't even dial the number. It would just hang up. And then it got to a point this week where it was saying that it couldn't connect to the mobile data network. So it said that I had to do Wi-Fi calling if I wanted to make a phone call, which was really weird. And so I looked up, by the way, I looked up Wi-Fi calling because I was like, well, if I do Wi-Fi calling, like the call's not that important, but at the same time, like if I have to make a call or if somebody has to call in, like how is that going to work? Because you try to call me, it went straight to voicemail. And then there was even a period where like people would call me or I would call other people and like their voices were like so low, like I couldn't even really hear people that well. So I think it was mainly my phone where it was just like the volume, like I would have the volume turned up to the highest level and I still was struggling to hear people. And I'm like, well, I know I play my music loud in my car, but I don't play my music that loud, like that I'm just deaf and I can't hear. So I'm like, something's not right. I gave my mom my phone and I called her and it was definitely like the volume was very low for her. So I'm like, well, clearly it's not me, it must be the phone at this point. So I've had this phone for a while. You know, it's been very good to me. I've gotten a lot of service from it, but right, like at this point it's not really doing me any service. Like I try to send texts and texts don't even always go through, and a lot of times they end up being not delivered and I'm like, okay, what's going on? So anyway, this phone has been awesome. It's been amazing. It's had a very, very good run over these past several years. And you know, as rough as I've been on it, like I've been rough on a lot of my phones, like I'll get it and then literally the next year I might not quite be eligible for an upgrade, but I need to get some kind of update to my phone because it's dropped and it's broken. So we ended up getting some insurance on my phones because of how rough I had been on them. But despite all the roughness, this one has actually been very good. Anyway, I decided I would stick with a Samsung. I'm very much an Android person. Apple is very secure. That's one of the very good things about it. With all the passwords and stuff, you know, if you download an app, then you have to have your password readily available. And I'm like, well, I might not always know my password for all these different things. Like I remember previously, I had an iPhone when I was in Tampa a couple years ago. And I went to this concert. I took some pictures. It was a very new phone. Like I literally just bought it. So I think I had just updated my password to my phone. Or it wasn't a password. It was like one of those swipe things where I had to like swipe a certain pattern to open it. And so I'm like, I don't remember what the pattern was. And I did it like 3-4 times and eventually it locked me out. And it's like, well, you're locked out for another 10 hours. You're locked out for another 48 hours. And then it got to a point where I'm just like, I don't know what I put in. So I was just like, I just had to do a factory reset and I lost the pictures that I took when I was there. Long story short, I ended up coming back to the Android family very shortly after that. And so I've just been here ever since. And I ain't going back. However, I will say this, even though I don't have an iPhone myself personally, I know a lot of people buy the iPhone. And so there's this little thing that I like to invest in Apple stock, because even though I don't buy the iPhone, even though I don't buy into the hype of buying or having to get the newest or latest iPhone every year, other people do. So your stock will increase because other people are buying the phone or buying the phones. Ugh, you want to be technical, so just something to think about. And I mean, even if you yourself buy an iPhone, you know, you can still invest in the stock. I had a Galaxy S9, Samsung Galaxy S9. So this is the phone, kind of like an unboxing sort of video. That's it right there. Oh, that thing is pristine. So for the most part, I'm gonna take my other phone out of the case just so we can compare size wise. So before I buy a phone, this is something I feel like everybody should do. I know a lot of people will buy phones and then later on they'll complain about different features and different things that have arisen or different issues that they've had after they bought the phone, which they didn't realize before they bought it or before they purchased it. I'm gonna get my phone all over the screen. But before I buy any phone, first thing that I do is I go and I consider, you know, what features does it have and what features it doesn't. What features does it have currently that might be better than what I have now, and what features does it not have that maybe my current phone has, and what is it that I'm willing to give up if it doesn't have the same and or better features than what I currently have on my old phone. So anyway, getting back to this. So we're gonna compare, I'm gonna try to compare the sizes of these two phones. The S21 is definitely a lot bigger. Well, not a lot bigger, but it's definitely a tad bit bigger screen-wise than the S9. I'm gonna note a few things I found in my personal research on this phone. So one of the first things that was quite obvious, I'm sure, when I turned these phones around is this one has 3 different lenses. The S9 only has 1 lens. The button setup, one a long button here and then one smaller one here. This one actually has a small one here, a long one here, and then it has another small one on this side for like screenshots. This is the one I use for my help do my screenshots. And it's also the power button as well. So other thing I want to note that they mentioned as well. Okay, so headphone jack. So this particular phone right here, the S9, it has a headphone jack. And what has been noted and what has been said is that this one, which I'm looking at it and I do not see a headphone jack on this phone anywhere. So if you got this phone, you definitely have to get some kind of AirPods or something like that if you want to listen to music or anything on this phone, because it does not have a place to put any wired headphones. All right, so the other thing that I've read about this phone in comparison to my old one is that the storage is, it has a lot more storage than the old phone, than the S9. I don't remember the exact storage numbers, but I will put the comparison up here. I put the S21 on this side and then the S9 storage amount on this side, so you can see the different comparison there. Also, let's see, what else? I don't know what else right now. Oh, other thing. Okay, so the other thing about this that was noted that I took notice of as well is the charger. So, you know, sometimes when you got the phone, I know back in the back in the day, back in the day, when you got your phone, you got a charger too. So in this case, they did not give me a charger. I don't even think did they give a wire in here? I don't even, let me see if they even gave a connector in here. Let me just finish this unboxing. Okay. All right, so they did. So you do have a connector to your cell phone and to the charger. However, this phone doesn't actually come with the actual charging piece. So what I read, they assume, for example, like if you're already part of, especially if you're already a part of the Android family, like I've already got an S9 here, they assume that you already kind of have that USB to a actual wall outlet, more or less, to take the SIM card out. And so because I wasn't sure that the wireless chargers I have would work for this newer model, I know it works for the old model, I wanted to make sure that I got something that I knew for a fact, which I would try. I'll probably put this phone on the charger in my room just to make sure to see if it works, because if not, then I have to throw those old ones out. But hopefully it does. Hopefully it's the same exact technology and it's not too different there. But what I ended up getting was this little wireless charging pad right here from Verizon, and it's supposed to be a fast charger. I didn't know how big the pad was going to be, but this is the pad right here, so it's really not that large at all, almost the size of like the palm of your hand basically. And so got that, and then here's your connector. It just connects here and then it plugs into the wall. Of course, all your power comes from the wall. But yeah, so that is that. And I haven't used this phone, as you all can see. I literally just took this out of the box. So I have not set it up as far as like my email, my contacts, all that stuff. But I will be setting that up very soon. I'll be setting it up today, as a matter of fact, because This old phone does not work as far as, like I said, phone calls, text messages. It's very, very slow. I have, like, somebody will send me a text message like early in the day and it'll be hours. It'll be probably afternoon, if not, probably afternoon, if not night before I get their message. So I'm gonna try to get a new one set up today. And then I have a couple more accessories that'll be coming specifically for this phone, and I'll do a separate video for those because it's a totally different, all this Verizon, but it'll be a totally different company that I'm getting my case from. I'm gonna get a screen protector and kind of like a little thing to keep my AirPods in. I have not gotten AirPods yet, but I will be getting some at some point. But for the moment, I don't have any, but I will be getting some definitely for this phone. And other than that, set this up. And then at some point, maybe a month, 2 months, whatever down the line, I can maybe come back and give an update on what I think personally of the phone. And that is it. I did see, there have been a couple videos, like there was one video that I watched where it was a guy kind of like going through and he was comparing the speed of the two phones, the S9 and the S21. I think he said the S21 was a little bit faster than the S9. But anyway, overall, S9 has been an amazing phone. It's given me a really great performance till lately. So I just decided to do an upgrade, and so I stayed with the same thing. So obviously you're not gonna stay with the same company or the same brand if it's not doing you justice or it's not doing you well. So anyway, that's the end of this video. I hope that you all found something in it that was helpful. If you're on the fence about getting an S21, you know, you at least got to see what it looked like. If you have some other Galaxy phone, or if you yourself have a S9, maybe thinking about upgrading, you know, you might want to think about it S21. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for supporting. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video.